Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is May 1st, 2026. Can you even believe it? I can hardly believe it, but it is. And here we are in Franklin, Massachusetts on a Friday morning. It's a lovely day outside, and hopefully it'll be a lovely weekend because tomorrow, my friends Steph Janru and Jen Mabadi and myself are doing a vendor fair at Bellingham High School tomorrow. So if you're not busy between 10 and 2, come on over to Bellingham High School. It's a field, the middle school field, I think, on Blackstone Street in Bellingham. So come on down. There are going to be 117 different vendors, and we are one of them. So come and see what we've got. Lots of Mother's Day, Father's Day things, plenty of cards, all kinds of wonderful things. So anyway, let's get started since it's 10 o'clock. So let me bring in what was in my newsletter this week. Hey, Jan, good morning. Good morning. How are you feeling, my Canadian friend? How are you doing? How are those legs coming, those ankles, those feet? How's your mobility? I'm hoping things are much, much better for you. So let's get started. So this is hey, Deb, good morning. Welcome to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for popping on. Let's see. As I said before, my feed is very slow for some reason. When people pop on, it takes a few seconds. Hey, Barbara. Good morning, Barbara from Maine, Upper Maine, where it's probably colder than what it is here. Although it's 54 degrees, I think, right here. Anyway, all right, so this is what we did. Hey, Colleen, good morning, good morning. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for joining in. So this is what I showed you this week on my newsletter. 2 cards. Hey, Barbara McDuffie. Good morning, Steph. Thank you so much for joining in. So let's get started. Let me show you. These are the 2 cards that I put on my, I'm getting better. Oh, Jan, that is such great news. Yay, yay, yay. Poor Jan went through a terrible ordeal breaking both of her ankles at the same time. Ouch. But that's good news. Okay, so let's get started. I think what I'm going to do is start with this one first. This one I took from an inspiration from somebody on Etsy. And unfortunately, I don't know the person's name. It was just in the Etsy store, but I thought it was absolutely beautiful. So I changed it up a little bit. She had put her message on the outside. And I chose to put mine on the inside. I hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day. So I'm going to show you how to make that. And then I'm going to show you how to make this one. This one is my own, sorry, my own creation. And I thought it was a really beautiful Mother's Day card. So let's just get started. Let me put this over here. Let me put this over here. And let me bring in the stuff that we need for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bone folder, and you know the routine here, blah, 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 blah. We always know what the routine is. The first thing is the cardstock has to be cut, and then it has to be scored, blah, blah, blah. And I just noticed here, you know how I am about this having to be exactly correct. And for some odd reason, it happens every once in a while that when I fold it, it isn't correct. So I just have to come in and take that little bit of extra overhang off because it would drive me nuts. Okay, that's fine. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to stamp my inside first. And I am going to use the message that says, the same message that was in the on my newsletter. And this says, have yourself, hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day. So let me take my Memento ink, and I'm going to take my little pad here because it is a photopolymer stamp. And then I'm going to ink this up. And I just re-inked all of my inks, which was a good thing because they definitely needed it. Okay, there's that. Let me put this over there, and let me cover this up because you know how I am with ink. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little flower and just stamp the inside on the lower right-hand corner just to make it prettier. And this is Balmy Blue. And let me bring this in so you can see it better. You should see my desk. Since we're getting ready for this fair tomorrow, I have so much stuff on here, it's disgusting. Okay, there's that. There's the inside. And wait a minute, I'm going to take a drink. I don't know what that little tickle is, but anyway, that's the story there. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see or not. See, let me just tilt this a little bit. Can you see? I used the Subtles embossing folder just to give this a little bit of extra pizzazz, just because I could. So I'm going to add this to my base. And then I'm going to take another piece of Balmy Blue. And here we go. This is going to go on like this. It just gives a little bit of extra interest. The person who made the card on Etsy, I don't believe had a layer behind the Balmy Blue, but I thought it would be nice. Okay, so there's that. So then I took a piece of Balmy Blue. Now this piece that I actually cut is 5 by 3 3/4. And then I used the Lovely Stripes embossing folder. Now I'm going to tell you something. When you have a folder like this that has a lot of depth to it, it can shrink up this cardstock. So I started with a piece that was 5 by 3 3/4. Then I ran it through the Lovely Stripes. And then it's less than, it's probably 3 7/16 of an inch wide. So it took a little bit off there and it took a little bit off here. So this is 4 3/4. So it's a little bit off, which is fine. It's totally fine. And then what I'm going to do, because it does have such shapes, it's, you know, it's the mountain, the valley, mountain, the valley. I'm going to use Tombow to apply it to my base. Now I could use either side, totally either side. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this side. So let's put some Tombow on. I love Tombow. I love all of our adhesives. We have a great selection of adhesives and I use them appropriately. I guess I probably use them sometimes inappropriately, but anyway. All right, so I'm going to hold this up because I want to make sure that I get this on east, west, north, and south correctly. And that looks pretty good to me. How does that look to you? That looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to press this down and... Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I did it again. You know what? Let me quickly lift this off. I took a piece of gingham. There we go. We're fine. No problem. There are no mistakes in Stampin' Up, friends. So I took a piece of gingham ribbon and I just cut it so that I could wrap it around here. So let me see if I can do this without, there we go. Let me just see if that's going to work fine because I do have to secure this down. So let me just secure this down. I am going to put a little bit of adhesive on this just to make sure that it sticks. It's a little awkward because I've got both the Tombow and the adhesive going here, but let's see. There we go. All right. Now let me turn it over and make sure. Oh, it's crooked. Let's fix that. We can't have crooked. That's for sure. Let me just pull this up a little bit and work it from the front. I should have put this on before I put the Tombow on. But remember, there are no mistakes. Absolutely none. There we go. That looks much better. Okay, now I'm going to bring it back in and I'm going to plant it right where it needs to be. Just like this. Perfect. There we go. Now let me press this down. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And I'm just going to make sure that that gets attached very nicely. There we go. See, there are no mistakes. None. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little bow. I already made the bow like this. Actually, you know what? Let's hold off on the bow. Let's get the flowers on first because that will determine exactly where that bow is going to go. All right, so then what I did was I took the Lovely Arrangements stamp set bundle. So this is it. I love it. Whoops. Let me show you the stamps. Here are the stamps. Love this set. Really, really pretty. So I took these two images and the leaves. I stamped the leaves in Old Olive and I stamped, here's the Old Olive, and then I stamped the flowers in Balmy Blue, which you already knew. So now the situation is that I'm going to get these all on according to where I want them to go. So let me take my dimensionals and I'm going to put dimensionals on the smaller flower and then I'm going to put there's 2 on this one, and then 2 on this one, and there's 1 and there's 2. All right, and then I'm going to put this in the sort of the left-hand corner up here like this, a little bit above the ribbon, like that. And then I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to put this one down here in the lower right-hand corner, like this. But I am going to take this flower and make sure, I'm just going to place it so that I know that I have enough space. This looks good to me like that, so that's where that's going to go. Then I'm going to take the flower, the leaves, and I am going, oh, there's a little thing, let me cut that out. And I'm just going to cut this into 2 pieces like this. All right, so the first one I'm going to put on with dimensionals up on the top like this. There we go. 2 dimensionals right there. And then this is going to come right next to that top flower like this, just like this. I think that looks good. Perfect. And then I'm going to take the smaller one and I'm going to put 1 dimensional on that because obviously it's smaller, so I only need 1. And we're going to put this underneath this just a little bit like this. I think that looks good there. And then I'm going to take this one. Now this needs just, it only needs 1 dimensional like right here because it's going to be sitting on top of these 3 images that already have dimensionals on. So I'm just going to take 1 dimensional, I'm going to put it here, and then I'm just going to place it like that. That looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put adhesive on this. So this adhesive is going to sit on top of those flowers like this. So there we go. This is going to come in just like that. And I'm really happy with the way that's looking. And I don't want to, there we go. Perfect. 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 Ta-da! Now I can take my, let me get these little dimensional pieces removed here. Now I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to take some glue dots and we're going to place it like right here. So I'm going to put a glue dot here. You could put the glue dot actually on your ribbon if you wanted, but I'm going to put it on there and then I'm going to bring this in and make sure this is nice and tight. And this is going to go in like this. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another glue dot underneath this little part of the ribbon. And I'm going to stick that down like that because I don't want it to come off. And you know what? I'm going to put another one up here, just like here on the edge, like that. Pop that off and lay that down like this. This one I'm not so concerned about. Actually, there, that looks good like that. All right, now guess what I have to do? I know you're going to guess. Well, first of all, let me take in my gems. Anybody who comes to my class this week will have choices of gems. I've got different gems here. And on my sample, I used, whoops, let me see. Oh, wait a minute. I just lost one. This one doesn't match. This is a Pool Party, and I want that. I don't want Pool Party on it. I want Balmy Blue. So these are both Balmy Blue. On my sample, I used this one that has a little bit of color to it. And this one is matte. So I am going to put this on. I'm going to put a big one right here. And then I'm going to put a small one right here. So people who come this week to my class will be able to pick what they want. All right, so I'm going to put this up here like that, just to add a little bit of pizzazz. Let me get those out of the way. And then we have to take the Winky, of course, just to add a little bit of Winky on these flowers. I just love Winky. You know how I do. I know I say it every week. You're probably bored with the fact that I say it all the time, but that's the way it is. And I am going to, let's see, I'm going to add, you notice that I'm squeezing my Winky here. This one is getting a little bit low. And I'm going to have to open up another one. I go through them so fast. It's unbelievable. But then this just, in real life, this gives this really a pretty little image. Now, these cards could be used not only for Mother's Day, because some of us don't have moms anymore. We have sisters and aunts and good friends, but it could be used for any occasion. This is a card that has quite a lot of versatility, and you could do other colors. You know, you could add different gems on it, but there we go. There is this card. What do you think? This is done. And the envelope, I stamped the envelope with the flower like that. Like that. So there is this beautiful card for Mother's Day. Hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day. So there's the first one. Okay, now let's bring in the second one. Here is the one that I designed all by myself. Actually, I did take a little inspiration. I love white on white, and I did look and I did see some really beautiful cards made with white on white. So I decided to tweak this up a little bit. All right, so let me bring the stuff we need. The first thing we need is the base. And again, I'm going to stamp. I'm going to emboss in silver embossing powder. I'm going to show you. I'm going to emboss. And let me just make sure this for some reason looks, nope, it's okay. All right, so the inside of this card, I am going to emboss this that says, "You are loved beyond measure." So in order to do that, let me get my little rosin pad and powder this thing up, because obviously we only want the embossing powder to go where it's supposed to go. Then the next thing I'm going to do is take my Versamark, and this week I got many of my inks re-inked and I put a lot of Versamark in, way too much on this one. Anyway, let me just put this on like this. Perfect. Press that down and let that Versamark kiss that paper. Perfect. And now let me bring in my embossing tray and powder. And I'm just going to sprinkle this on like this and then tap it out. Look at how pretty that looks. And then I'm going to do one other thing before I heat set that. Here is the panel that says Happy Mother's Day. Now I'm going to do what I normally would do is I would do my stamping and then cut it out with the stitched rectangle die. However, I do not want my embossed Happy Mother's Day in silver embossing powder to flatten out, because it would flatten out if I stamped it if I heat embossed it first and then ran it through the stitched and die. It would flatten out those words. I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I already cut it out, and then I'm going to, where did I do it? Here we need my little rosin pad, and I'm going to stamp this. Now we just have to hope that, because I'm sort of a veteran stamper here, that I'm not going to make a mistake. But there are no mistakes. Remember, there are absolutely no mistakes at all. All right, so I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to press that down and let that Versamark kiss that. There we go. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to, perfect. We hope it's perfect. All right, so now I'm going to take this over to my, where are my little tweezers? I have to use my tweezers because this gets really hot. All right, so bear with me a minute while I go heat set both of these. I'll be right back. I'm over here on the side. Get a drink of coffee or whatever, and I'll be right back. You'll hear it. You probably won't be able to hear me, but here we go. It's working. I'll be there in a minute. All right, I'm doing the card now. I'll be over in a minute. Not even a minute. All done. I'm coming back. And they came out nicely. Look at how pretty this looks. Okay. So here's the inside of the card, and here is the little panel that's going to go on top. Happy Mother's Day. All right, so let me put that aside. Now that I've got this done, what I'm going to show you is how I did this. So I took my stitched rectangles, and I took the largest one. This is one, once it's done, is 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. So that's already cut, stitched out. And then this one is the next smaller size. And I did it like that because I wanted to make sure, I just loved the way that looked, because laying it on top with 2 of the stitched panels. So now what I'm going to do is add some adhesive to this, and then I'm going to attach it to the larger one. This is a really fast card to make and a beautiful card. Again, I made this for Mother's Day. However, this could be, can you imagine how beautiful this would be for a wedding card, or for, you know, a special graduation, or thinking of you, or just whatever. All right, so there is that. Now I'm going to add the adhesive to the back of this and put it on the body of the card like this. And let me pull that off. Colleen, I think we should do a Stampin' Up! Workshop at Easton Star. I'm missing my Goombas. I had a nice little chat with Lori a few weeks ago. And I know you're crazy busy with Grand Chapter. It's very busy, but it's all good. But anyway, we should talk. All right, so there's that. So then the next thing I did was I took this beautiful layered florals embossing folder. And this is one of the newer ones. It's a 6x6 folder. It's nice and big. So when I have my classes next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of 6x6 paper and run it through. And the reason I'm going to do that is because, let me bring in the sample. If you can see, there is a flower here that's already cut out. So first of all, everybody will get this panel. And again, what I would do is I would run it through the stitched rectangle die first, because I don't want to run it through after I've done that, because it would flatten all of the flowers. So what you do is you're going to run it through the stitched rectangle die first, and then run it through this layered embossing folder, layered florals embossing folder. But having said that I'm going to cut out a big one, a 6x6, that means everybody will get a piece so that they can cut out their own little flowers. Now these were from my samples when I was playing around with it, but you can see that you've got plenty of these extras. And when you actually use this big thing, you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers that you can cut out. So one piece will cut out 7 flowers to add to this. All right, so let me bring this in. This is already done. Now we're going to add some dimensionals to this. Lots of dimensionals. You could use Tombow if you wanted on this too, but I'm just doing dimensionals. It'll be fine with dimensionals. And then get this off. And then I'm going to show you. All right, isn't this pretty? It's such a beautiful card. I absolutely love it. Oh, I just love it. I think it's so, so pretty. There we go. And then here is my little one that I took and cut out. And I'm going to put it right on here. And I'm going to take my bubble bath. Where is my bubble bath? I'm probably staring right at it. Oh, here it is, right here. Here is the bubble bath ink. And here is my brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some ink on this, and I'm going to start in the middle. Now, normally I would start on my grid paper and rub it in like that, but I want it to kind of spread out from the center. I want the darkness in the center. So here we go, like this, and then I'm just making bigger circles and bigger circles, and then I'm going to get a little bit more and start there, and then just come out to the sides. And you can decide how much color you want or not. You know, it's completely up to you. This is looking good to me. Just a little bit more and a little bit more. I like going in circles. There. Perfect. Okay, done. Move this aside. Get that out of the way. Now I'm going to put some dimensionals on this. I'm going to put all right, let me bring in and show you what I'm going to do first. First of all, I'm going to put my Happy Mother's Day on here like this with dimensionals. And then my flower is going to overlay this. There we go. 3 is good. 3 is very good. All right, here we go here. And I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to put it like right about here. I'm just lining it up with this. Whoops, let me pull it. Lining it up with this side right here so that it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to bring my flower in. And I want my flower to lie like this. So that means I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on here to rest it on top of this popped up banner. But then this part is going to have dimensionals because I want it to be equal with that banner. All right, so let me just make sure. There we go. Yeah, so now I'm going to put them in here, 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 and then I'm going to add a little bit, just bring it back to make sure where I want this adhesive. So I want it on those two pieces like that, and I'm just going to add like that. It's all how you want it. You can put it exactly where you want it. You can actually, if you wanted to do this in a horizontal orientation, you could. Absolutely. No problem. All right, so this is going to come in just like this. Press that down and press that down like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Winky, of course, and I'm going to wink this flower up because in real life, having put Winky on this really, really has a nice contrast between the base embossing and between this beautiful flower like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm patting myself on the back. Every once in a while, something comes into my head and I get to make something that I think is really pretty. Now, of course, we're not done, so we're going to take some gems. Now, what did I do with those? I had them right here. Here they are. Now, on this card, on the one that I did this week, I took these flat bubble bath gems, which is really pretty. So I've got some of those, but then I also have these round ones that are really beautiful. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put a big one on. If I put the big one on, I think the big one would overtake it. So I'm going to put a little one. I'm going to put one. Whoops, let me do the right side. Oh, that was another thing I did this week. I took my take your pick tools and I made sure that I had enough silicone in each one of them. And this one I twisted it too hard, and all of a sudden it came out in a big long squirt. And unfortunately, you can't put it back in. So I just kind of patted it all together. So that's going to last me for a long time. So there's one right there. Now I could put a couple more on if I wanted, but I think I'm just going to leave it like this because I think that's really pretty. What do you think? I just love it. If you can see that shine on with the Wink of Stella, it's such a pretty card. And of course, there's the inside. You are loved beyond measure. How pretty is that? So, my friends, these are the cards that we're going to make next week in my class. If you're coming, please let me know so I can prep appropriately for the numbers that we need, but this is what we're going to be doing. So, as I said, I just wanted to tell you a couple things. Again, the Bellingham Fair is tomorrow in Bellingham, Massachusetts. It's going to be at the middle school field. There's a big field. It's on Blackstone Street. So if you want to come and join us there, that'll be fun. There are going to be 117 vendors, all different people from all different walks of life. So that'll be fun. And then I wanted to tell you about Maine. We just got back from Maine. Oh my gosh, we had such a great time. And hopefully next December 3 through 6 is our next trip to the Stage Neck Inn in glorious York, Maine. And if you want to join us, please let us know. We had a wonderful time. Lots of laughs, lots of fun, amazing crafts. Everybody does something different, and it was just a lot of fun. So we'll be posting I'll be posting some pictures on my site. If you're a member of our group, the Craft and Unwind Getaway, we'll be posting pictures to that private group. All right, my friends, thank you very much for joining me. Jan, have a great week. Keep up that good rehab. I'm so happy things are going well for you. I love you all. Thank you for joining in. Colleen, let's talk. Let's talk. Okay, my friends, have a great one. Thank you so much. And yes, can't wait for tomorrow, Steph. Yep, I'm ready. Okay, love you all.